Fueled by Deathcast.
At the beginning of Skubana, Skubana was born out of a necessity you had, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I come from the e-commerce world for the past decade.
So walk me through that a little bit. I know you started e-commerce. You started a company, correct me if I'm wrong, it was called Crucial Vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
What was that
Correct.
all about? Was that literally a vacuum company?
Yeah, so my parents owned a vacuum store. So think back to if you've ever been into a vacuum store.
Oh, yeah.
My parents had a vacuum store and Walmart opened up right next door. So growing up, we would have to pinch pennies together to pay the bills or to pay the mortgage. And I was like, I never want to be an entrepreneur and I never want to be in the vacuum industry. And sure enough, right, I'm an entrepreneur and in the vacuum industry.
You failed on both accounts.
Exactly. So I actually I was first generation college grad. And I went onto Wall Street and I ended up covering internet stocks. So advising hedge funds and institutional investors to buy, sell, or short internet stocks.
Oh, wow.
And I noticed that there was this thing called Amazon that was growing and they built this marketplace. And I started helping my parents sell their wares on Amazon across with many other channels in e-commerce.
Wow. And that was pretty much at the tail end of the internet boom there, right? Early 2000s you were doing that?
I got laid off Friday the 13th, 2009, but I had started doing that in 2007, kind of moonlighting, and then finally survived 3 head cuts, was laid off, and started helping my parents full time. Sure enough, my father passes away, and I started my own direct-to-consumer company where we started manufacturing our own home appliance parts and accessories and selling them direct-to-consumer.
So you kind of fell into entrepreneurship without ever even looking towards that, but you fell into it and you went both feet forward, which is commendable. But then you get to a point where your company now that you're working for scaled beyond your means, correct?
So you're talking about the e-commerce business or Skubana?
E-commerce, just before you started to come into Skubana.
Yeah, I mean, it was scaling. I had 35 employees, and you guys are well aware of some of the pain points that I struggled with. And we essentially started eating in our own restaurant. We started dog fooding and building the software for my own needs, but also building it for many other large e-commerce brands' needs that were ripe and taking over these incumbents, very similar to Death Wish Coffee.
Incredible. So you're actually creating the groundwork for Skubana without ever... It wasn't like you set out and you're like, okay, I've been doing this company for a while and now I'm going to start this other venture. You just literally did it out of necessity and were building those things, those pieces in your existing company, correct? Before you ever even started Skubana?
Yeah, no, you know what? We were struggling with trying to unify our business in one place that allowed us to scale. I tried every software on the low end. There's a lot of higher end softwares that would have taken us a long time to deploy. And I met serendipitously my business partner, DJ Kunovac, and it was introduced through a friend of mine from college. Long story short, he came, he saw the problem, and we started to work on that problem. But we actually always had the idea that we wanted to use the software for many other people beyond my own needs.